On the day of the engagement, I was kidnapped. My entire family concealed the news of my kidnapping and had my sister marry my fiancé in my place. They were convinced that the kidnapping was staged by me. After the engagement banquet, both families came to despise me. Father's face was full of anger. Even if she comes back, I won't acknowledge her as my daughter. She'd better die out there. Mother's eyes were filled with disappointment. If I had known it would turn out like this. I shouldn't have brought her back from the countryside in the first place. It's utterly disgraceful. Even the fiancé said, she's gone too far this time. Even if she returns, I won't marry her. I was tortured by the kidnappers for a month. In the end, it was my sworn enemy who saved me. After years of mutual hatred and fighting, he was the only one willing to help me in the end. But his condition was that I had to crawl back to North City on my knees, step by step, to survive. I had no choice but to comply. When I arrived at my doorstep, covered in wounds and filthy as a beggar, the whole family is throwing a grand birthday party for my sister. She has become the princess surrounded by stars. I've become a beggar, just as she once said, "Stinky beggar, you'll never outdo me in this lifetime." In the deserted corner, I quietly close my eyes. I died at the doorstep of my home, died amidst the elegant sound of the piano. Dying at the moment when the family presented my sister with a diamond crown. Have you had enough of this nonsense? Amid the angry shouts, I slowly opened my eyes, feeling a sharp pain at the back of my head. On the couch nearby, my sister was sobbing in our mother's arms, accusing me of stealing her boyfriend. Dad stood up for my sister, only to find out it was her fault. He felt I had challenged his authority as a father, and in a fit of anger, pushed me down the stairs. I touched the back of my head. It hurt. This is proof that I am alive. It is also a symbol of my rebirth. Once again, my father's angry shouts echoed above me. She is your sister. Why can't you consider sisterly love? Can't you stop being so selfish? I numbly took out my phone and dialed my boyfriend's number. Soon, the call connected. My sister likes you. You should be with her. We're breaking up. Don't call me again. After saying that, I blocked the number. All three people present were stunned. I raised my head and asked Dad, "Are you satisfied now?" Dad didn't say a word. Mom frowned and scolded me. "You stole your sister's boyfriend, and you still act so arrogant. No wonder. You were raised by that old hag. It's always someone else's fault. You're never wrong." The old hag she referred to was my grandmother. I grew up at my grandmother's house and didn't return to my parents' home until I started middle school. Back then, the family was poor, and they said they couldn't afford to raise two children, so they kept my sister with them and left me, who wasn't even a month old, with my grandmother. They always claimed to be poor, until the villagers discovered that my father lived in a villa and my mother drove a luxury car. Only then did we realize they had become wealthy long ago. They just didn't want to support my grandmother and me. Later, I learned that my birth sign clashed with my father's, making us unsuitable to be a family. Before my grandmother passed away, despite her physical discomfort, she sought out my parents and forced them to take care of me, threatening to die on their doorstep if they refused. My parents, concerned about their reputation, had no choice but to agree. I knew my parents didn't truly want me back home. To secure my place, I began living like a desperate sycophant. They told me to go east, and I absolutely wouldn't go west. I carefully tried to please everyone, only to be met with their cold indifference, until they discovered that my long-term boyfriend was the heir to the Chen group. The sister who always looked down on him secretly confessed her feelings to him. He rejected me. When I found out about this, I had my first argument with my sister. She mocked me. "You're just a stinking beggar. Do you even deserve the heir of the Chen group?" My response was, "I don't want the heir of the Chen group. I want Ron Chen as a person. I love him. And he loves me. That's enough." She could no longer smile. From that day on, she hated me. But the love I believed in was just a joke. At the engagement party, Ron Chen, who had repeatedly claimed to love only me, remained indifferent upon learning I had been kidnapped. He even turned around and got engaged to my sister, declaring he would not change his choice of fiancé. She was convinced that her sister was the one. The facts proved that I truly couldn't compete with her. She didn't have to lift a finger, yet our parents doted on her endlessly. With just a little effort, she could steal away the boyfriend I had been with for years. She is what people call a winner in life. I'm tired and weary, don't want to fight anymore. Take it if she wants it. I don't want anything anymore. Seeing that I remained silent, like a puppet, My mother grew displeased again and continued scolding. You can't even take a little criticism. Who do you think you're glaring at with that dead face all day? Do we, as your parents, owe you anything? Stay in this house or don't. No one cares, I replied indifferently. Ron Chen has been my boyfriend since college. You knew that, just because his identity is now revealed as the heir to the Chen group. You forced me to give him up for my sister. I obeyed, so why are you still yelling at me? I wasn't seeking their answer, just making a futile rebuttal. How could a biased person ever recognize their own partiality? They would only think that I didn't do well enough, that I should have actively brought the two of them together to create a beautiful story. Mom was momentarily speechless. My sister cried with tears streaming down her face. I can tell you're not sincere at all. I retorted. What more do I need to do to prove my sincerity? You stole my boyfriend, and I let it go, even blocked him. Isn't that enough? My sister was left speechless. Her face almost contorted with anger. At that moment, the phone rang. It was Ron Chen calling from a different number. Lacey, did I do something wrong? Why are we breaking up? I can't live without you. You're my Mrs. Chen. I won't allow us to break up. Ron Chen's pleading voice came through the phone. Such beautiful words of love. But the title of Mrs. Chen I once longed for ultimately fell upon my sister. You and my sister are a perfect match. You're more suited for each other. Don't call me again. After saying this, I hung up the phone and blocked the number. My sister suddenly flew into a rage. What do you mean by this? Pitying me? I want genuine love, not the trash you've discarded. I turned to ask my parents, what should I do to satisfy all of you? My father avoided my gaze and remained silent. My mother clearly lacked the confidence she had earlier, but still scolded me. Can't you handle things more gently? Acting this way will damage your sister's reputation and make young Master Chen think she's forcing you, isn't she? I retorted. Mom was stunned. I added, sister pressured you. You pressured me. I compromised, broke up, and still got scolded by you. I know my position in this family is awkward. You don't like me, so no matter what I do, it's wrong. My voice was very soft, like a feather floating in the air. So ethereal it seemed impossible to grasp. I once loved you, but not anymore. I finally said these words. In my past life, I wanted to say them many times, but I still held on to a sliver of hope, until death. Before dying, I sat at my doorstep, listening to a professional pianist play Fur Elise, enjoying the last rays of sunlight falling on me. What was I thinking at that time? My knees hurt so much, and my forehead too, because I had to kneel all the way back. My nemesis sent people to follow me, and if my posture wasn't correct, I had to start over from the beginning. I want to survive, so I had no choice but to kneel and bow repeatedly, ensuring every movement was perfectly executed. Compared to death, everything else becomes as light as a feather. Yet in the end, I still died so tragically, all because of stubbornness. I shouldn't have expected their love, whether it's familial love or romantic love. Dad narrowed his eyes at me. What do you mean by that? I didn't respond, but instead brought up another matter. My sister has been competing with me for the position of sales director. I'll give it to her now. Tonight, I'll write my resignation letter and aim to complete the handover within 2 days. My sister's eyes lit up, afraid I might change my mind, and she immediately said, Dad, you heard it with your own ears. She voluntarily gave up the position. My abilities are no worse than hers, and I'm fully capable of taking on the role. Dad's company once faced bankruptcy. Once, when he was drunk, he yelled at me, calling me a jinx, saying I was incompatible with him and that if I hadn't returned, the company wouldn't have faced bankruptcy. Business is inherently about wins and losses. But he chose to blame the loss on me. At that time, I had already graduated from university for 2 years and was thriving in other companies. After listening to my father's words, I gritted my teeth, resigned from my promising position, and went to his nearly bankrupt company to work in sales. In just half a year, I brought his company back from the brink of collapse. To secure orders, I attended countless drinking sessions, big and small, drinking until my stomach ached. I was even once kicked out of a gathering, left wandering the streets half drunk and half conscious. I snatched orders too aggressively and offended quite a few people. At first, my rivalry with my archenemy was just a simple case of mutual dislike. I couldn't stand him, and he couldn't stand me. Later, I snatched several of his deals, big and small, causing him significant losses. Perhaps it was from that point on that he began to hate me. Still, I'm grateful to him. At the very least, when I made that desperate call for help, he was the only one who answered and offered assistance. A bow and a kneel. That should repay his kindness. No. Dad actually refused my resignation. The company now makes tens of millions in profit annually, a level Dad could never reach before. He's biased, not stupid. He knows very well who is currently holding the company up, but which side the scales will tip toward, no one can know until the very end. Her sister's eyes were filled with disbelief. She had always been the apple of her parents' eyes, getting everything she wanted. This was the first time she had desired something so badly, only to be denied by her father. Trembling with anger, she ran back to her room in tears. Mother quickly followed, afraid she might do something foolish. On the spot, father pursed his lips and, unusually, spoke softly to me. I know you've contributed a lot to the company. The company's success today, apart from my leadership, is also due to the orders you've secured. Rest assured, as long as you don't cause trouble, I'll keep you in your position as director. Honeyed words laced with poison. I laughed at myself mockingly. If it were the old me hearing these words, I would surely have been deeply moved. After all, he acknowledged my efforts and hard work. Only after seeing through them did I realize this tactic was what they call brainwashing. Belittling me while occasionally sweet-talking me, just to make me work my heart out for them. Those who lack love are always easily blinded by such petty tricks. I'm not blind to it, I just willingly let myself be used. The old me, so foolish. You'd better start looking for the next sales director soon. I no longer accept brainwashing. Dad got anxious, gritted his teeth, and said, "Don't really think the company can't do without you. I'm only giving you this chance because of our father-daughter relationship. If you leave the company, who would offer you such a high position?" I glanced at him and instantly felt disgusted. My capabilities are obvious to all. Where couldn't I go? There are already more than 5 headhunting firms secretly reaching out to me, each offering better salaries and benefits than his company. In his eyes, I've somehow become someone unwanted, barely kept around out of his reluctant charity. My gaze was too direct, filled with naked contempt and disgust, which unsettled him slightly. Having been an absentee boss for years, the company wouldn't last long if I resigned. I was thoughtless about the matter between your sister and Master Chen. You've been with Master Chen for many years, and I shouldn't have let you two break up so casually. I'll talk to your sister. Whether you've found someone or not, I'll complete the handover within 2 days. I interrupted him. Before he could react with anger, I turned and left. In no time, his furious roar came from behind. But I didn't care. 2 days later, I completed all the work handover. The new sales director is my sister. The scales still tipped towards favoritism. She threatened her parents by going on a hunger strike. They gave in after just 1 day. My sister looked down at me with the air of a victor. A stinking beggar will always be a stinking beggar. No matter how hard you try, it's useless. After all these years of struggle, this office is still mine. I silently packed my things and left. Neither biting the dog back nor engaging in a fight with it was what I wanted. Perhaps dissatisfied with the indifference on my face. She followed me from the office all the way to the company entrance, hurling a stream of harsh words along the way. She's trying to provoke me into losing my temper. She sent people to stake out, aiming to capture footage of me arguing with her, then post it online to facilitate her spreading rumors. Many companies want to poach me. If I were embroiled in a scandal now, they would surely hesitate. She's trying to cut off my escape routes. But I won't give her the satisfaction. As I stepped out the door carrying the cardboard box, I happened to run into my teammates returning from lunch. To avoid causing panic, the company hadn't announced my departure yet. Seeing me with the box, they stared at me in stunned silence. "Director, are you leaving?" I nodded. "The company will notify you all later. If fate allows, we'll meet again in the world." They were reluctant to see me go and came over one by one to talk to me. My sister got angry and scolded them. "Do you think I'm dead? I'm the next sales director, and from now on, you'll report to me. If you don't want to work, just submit your resignation anytime, and I'll approve it immediately." The executive assistant immediately took off the company badge hanging around her neck upon hearing this and confronted her head. "I've never followed the company. I follow the director." I follow Lacey. If she leaves, I'm going with her. The young assistant was too impulsive, and I feared she might regret it. I quickly stepped in front of her and whispered a warning, "Don't act recklessly." The assistant, in turn, reassured me, "Lacey, don't worry, my family is well off, even if I don't work. My parents can support me. Back when you came to recruit at our school, if it weren't for your help, I wouldn't have joined this company anyway. It's just a small firm. Not even as big as my mom's company." At this point, the assistant's eyes suddenly lit up. "Why don't you come to my mom's company? You're so capable. Even though our company doesn't have this kind of business, your skills would definitely convince my mom." I was amused. "I just quit my job and want to take a break for a while." The assistant pouted. "All right, then I'll go home and be a freeloader for a while too. When you find a new job, remember to take me with you." I still want to be Lacey's assistant. The others were also tempted, their eyes clearly showing hesitation. The company hasn't signed a single new contract this year, and relying solely on them, they feel uncertain in their hearts. Sister's face twisted with anger as she glared fiercely at the little assistant. Yet she couldn't do anything about her. However, she didn't dare to say that sentence again, fearing that if the entire department resigned, she wouldn't be able to handle it alone. She couldn't wait to take my position because she wanted to enjoy the benefits, not to look for trouble. At this moment, an inconspicuous black car pulled up. Roan Chen got out of the car and walked toward me, grabbing my wrist. With the grievance of a child, he said, "You blocked me. I called you from other numbers. But you ignored me. What did I do to upset you? I'll change anything. Don't misunderstand me." Holding the cardboard box, I couldn't shake off his hand. The warmth from his palm spread to me, making my hair stand on end and filling me with disgust. "Please let go." I tried my best to stay calm. Roan Chen still wanted to act spoiled, but my patience had run out. With an expression of utter disgust, I shouted angrily, "Let go." The sound was so loud that even the security guards were startled and looked over. Roan Chen froze for a moment, then reluctantly let go. I took a deep breath, regaining my composure, and said indifferently, "We've already broken up." "I don't agree." Roan Chen's eyes reddened as he pleaded, "Please don't break up." "Okay, I'll listen to whatever you say." I glanced at my assistant, who, understanding my silent cue, immediately took the cardboard box from my hands. I took out my phone and opened the video. In the video, my sister was wearing a revealing evening gown, coiled around Roan Chen like a snake. He didn't reject her advances. One arm was wrapped around her waist while the other was busy replying to a message. At the time, I was looking for him, and he lied, saying he was in a meeting. Roan Chen's eyes flashed with panic as he hurriedly explained, "Lacey, let me explain. It's not what it looks like." I made a shushing gesture, signaling him to keep watching. In the video, my sister wrapped her arms around Roan Chen's neck and kissed him. Roan Chen instinctively pushed her away. But she held on tight. After a few back and forths, Roan Chen let her embrace and kiss him, and eventually, the two entered the hotel. The next clip showed the two of them making out fiercely right at the doorway before even entering the hotel room. After the door closed behind them, anyone could guess what they were about to do. These two videos were not secretly recorded in a hotel. They were taken by paparazzi who were following us. The paparazzi sold the videos to my sister, originally. My sister intended to use these videos to pressure me into breaking up with Roan Chen. However, our mother found out and forbade her from using this method, saying it would damage her reputation. Our mother's idea was to find an opportunity where I would willingly step aside, preserving my sister's reputation while allowing her to secure the position as the heir to the Chen Group. The reason I obtained these two videos is that the paparazzi were short on money and secretly sold them to me. In my previous life, I didn't get these two videos, probably because the paparazzi sold them to Roan Chen. In this second chance at life, the butterfly flapped its wings, and many things have subtly changed. After the videos finished playing, everyone present fell silent and looked at me with sympathetic eyes. Only my sister squeezed out tears and cried, saying, "If you want to hit someone, hit me. It's my fault, but I truly love Roan. If you're willing to let him be with me, I'll be grateful to you for the rest of my life." Roan Chen denied their relationship, saying, "Lacey, don't listen to her nonsense. I have nothing to do with her. She seduced me. I've met many women like her, which is why I chose you. I've hidden my identity all these years, yet you've always treated me the same. The one I love will always be you." No one can replace you. While accepting my own sister's seduction, he claims to love me. His love is truly cheap. My assistant spoke up for me indignantly. If you only love Lacey, why did you get involved with other women? Couldn't even wait to get through the door before making out? Who'd believe it was just seduction? You two probably hooked up long ago, you shameless pair. No one else dared to say it out loud. After all, they still had to work under my sister, but their eyes were filled with agreement for what the assistant had said. I nodded. That's a very accurate analysis. The little assistant proudly lifted her chin and said, "That's." Noticing the timing wasn't right, she lowered her chin and said to me with a shared sense of indignation, "Lacey, should we pull hair or beat up the scumbag? I'm good with either." I patted her head and said, "Good girl, let's not cause trouble. Take the cardboard box to my car." The little assistant glanced at the cheating couple, then at me, and walked away with frequent backward glances. Roan Chen couldn't figure out my attitude and cautiously said, "Lacey, this time it's my fault. I can promise you, there will absolutely not be a next time. Can you trust me just once?" I smiled faintly, just as he thought I had forgiven him. I slapped him hard across the face. A sharp smack rang out. Roan Chen's face was slapped to one side. His sister rushed over, pushed me away, and roared, "Are you out of your mind? Why did you hit him?" Another sharp slap rang out. A red handprint appeared on his sister's face. A pair of scumbags. They deserved to be dealt with together. My sister's face was filled with shock, completely unable to believe I dared to hit her. My father came out of the company, saw the scene, and thought I was bullying my sister. Without a word, he rushed over and slapped me. I took a step back, dodging him. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. I looked at him expressionlessly and said, "From now on, I have no family. Remember these words." With that, I turned and walked away. Roan Chen wanted to chase after me but was tightly held back by his sister. "No, Lin Meyer." Father Lin scrambled up from the ground and roared at my retreating figure, "If you have the guts, never come back for the rest of your life." That night, a video has gone viral online. The title reads, "Daughter beats her own father." The clip is brief, cleverly edited to show only me slapping Lin Meyer and her father lying on the ground with me standing over them, all in under a minute. But this generation of netizens has its own perspective, and their reaction is completely different from what Lin Meyer had hoped for. Is this it? Such obvious editing. And you're telling me which side to believe? The title says daughter violently beats her biological father. But the entire video doesn't show a single moment where the girl lays a finger on the middle-aged man on the ground. Pure clickbait. Videos like this can flip in an instant. Just watch for the drama. Trash video, not worth watching. Next. Wait, hold on, there's something interesting. Look at the guy next to the girl. He seems to be the son of the big boss of Chen Corporation. The video made no splash online and quickly faded into silence. Perhaps the video didn't achieve the effect Lin Meyer desired, forcing her to hypocritically criticize the blogger who posted it publicly under her personal account. She wanted the video to cause a stir but didn't want others to discover it originated from her, so she resorted to a green tea remark. "I don't want family scandals aired in public. No matter how bad my sister is, she's still family. Even if she hit dad, she usually enjoys flaunting her wealth." And this account has quite a few followers. Her statement indeed sparked a lot of discussion, but it was just a small ripple. Within less than a day, the video was overshadowed by others. After the online exposure tactic failed, she took no further action, mainly because she doesn't have any leverage against me. And right now she needs to curry favor with Roan Chen, so she can't spare the time. Very soon. Half a month passed. 1 noon, the assistant excitedly called me, "Lacey, did you see the news this morning? Lin Meyer got beaten up." After listening to my assistant's words, I opened the news and found that it was flooded with reports about Lin Meyer being the other woman and getting beaten up by a wealthy wife. In the video, Lin Meyer was grabbed by the hair by a tall girl, who slapped her face repeatedly, while 2 other girls were pulling off her clothes and occasionally kicking her. If Lin Meyer's parents hadn't arrived in time, she would have definitely been exposed. Upon seeing that it was Lin Meyer's parents, the girls started yelling at them, cursing them for teaching their daughter to be the other woman. Mr. Lin, who was usually hot-tempered, was scolded so badly that he didn't dare to retort. Mrs. Lin also lowered her head and shielded Lin Meyer as they left. "I've seen the girl in the video from afar at some banquets. She's a wealthy, beautiful, and privileged girl from high society. Married to a young master from the same social class, and is a very arrogant person. I never expected Lin Meyer to offend her. It seems Lin Meyer's ambitions are quite big this time. But wasn't her target Ron Chen? How did he suddenly become another wealthy young master? It seems a lot has happened in the past half month. I'm not interested in knowing. But my assistant is, and she didn't care whether I wanted to know or not, bombarding me with a bunch of insider information, according to rumors. Lin Meyer approached Ron Chen many times, even using that hotel video to threaten Ron Chen's family, forcing the Chen family to give her a proper status. But the Chen family wasn't having any of it. They turned the tables and warned Ron Chen that if his reputation was ruined to the point where he was no longer fit to be the heir of the Chen group, they would replace him. This scared Ron Chen into figuring out a solution on his own. Who knows what method Ron Chen used? But afterward Lin Meyer stopped bothering him and instead got involved with that notorious playboy. That rich kid was infamous for his cheating ways. You could say Lin Meyer brought this on herself. No wonder Lin's parents have been taking turns calling me these past few days. Turns out their precious daughter got into trouble and they want my help to fix it. By the way, Lacey, the entire sales team from the previous company has left. Some joined other companies, while others started their own businesses. The sales department has become an empty shell. Lin Meyer took the initiative to offer herself to that playboy, and I suspect it's related to signing this year's contract. Suddenly struck by a thought, the assistant exclaimed in shock. Could she possibly think contracts are obtained by selling herself? The sales department is an empty shell now. This speed is completely beyond my expectations. I thought they could hold out for at least 3 months. But in just half a month, she completely destroyed the top-performing sales department I had built over several years. Right, Lacey, sometimes I find you quite naive too. Do you really think those seasoned veterans followed you just for the sake of the company? No, they followed you because you were their shield, their sky, and their talent scout all at once. Now that the sky has collapsed and the scout has left, these old warhorses naturally had to find a new home. They're all renowned salespeople in the industry. They can easily land high-paying jobs anywhere. There's no reason for them to put up with Lin Meyer's attitude day in and day out. You have no idea. After you left, Lin Meyer introduced a bunch of useless rules and restrictions. These are seasoned pros. The moment those rules came out, they had their resignation letters ready. The second they found a new job, they were out of there. Lin Meyer thought she could make a strong impression as a new leader, putting those old employees who looked down on her in their place, but seasoned veterans don't play that game. They just walked out. Based on my estimate, this should have happened at the earliest 3 months later. I never expected Lin Meyer to speed things up so much that the entire sales department was gone in just half a month. She's utterly useless. No wonder Mr. Lin objected when I submitted my resignation. Lin Meyer truly can't shoulder the responsibility. But these matters have nothing to do with me. Now, I'm just an insignificant bystander. In the following days, my phone was bombarded with calls again. Previously, it was Ron Chen who kept calling with different numbers. And now it was the Lin parents' turn. It seemed I had no choice but to change my number. I changed my number, but the peace lasted only a week before it was shattered. The Lin parents actually came looking for me. I rented a small villa in the suburbs, early in the morning. Before I was even fully awake, the doorbell started ringing incessantly. I thought it was the hourly cleaner arriving, but before opening the door, I decided to be cautious and checked the surveillance monitor first. To my surprise, it was Lin Meyer and her parents. I had absolutely no desire to see them. So I simply called the property management and asked them to send security to drive them away. 10 minutes later, the property staff and security arrived, informing them they were harassing a resident and demanding they leave. Mr. Lin flew into a rage, shouting at the door, "Lacey Lin, come out here, stop pretending you can't hear me. I know you're inside, the family is in chaos, and hiding away is no solution." Mother Lin burst into tears, playing the emotional card. "My eyes are nearly blind from crying over you. Can't you just come out and see your mother once?" The property staff and security guards exchanged glances. Unsure whether to forcibly remove them or call the police, I texted the property management. "They are not my parents. Get them out immediately." The property staff and security guards began to take forceful measures, dragging them out. It took nearly half an hour before the entrance finally quieted down. Clearly, This villa was no longer livable. That same day, I moved to a high-end apartment, which was actually my real residence. However, I had already listed it for sale. Planning to use the proceeds to study abroad, it's laughable. As a sales director, my annual income wasn't as high as the industry rumors suggested, and was even lower than their estimates. For that company, I gave my heart and soul, but ended up with nothing. On the second day of moving into the apartment, Roan Chen came knocking. Turns out Roan Chen had already sent someone to stake out the apartment entrance. The moment I appeared, someone notified him, "Lacey, I'm sorry." This was the first thing he said to me. "If you really feel sorry for me, don't ever appear in front of me again. I don't want to see you." Every time he appears, I'm reminded of the game the kidnapper played with me in my past life. When the kidnapper called the Lin family to demand ransom, they didn't believe it and hung up the phone. After multiple calls were hung up, the kidnappers cut off my little finger and took a photo to send to them. They still didn't believe it, including Roan Chen. For 3 consecutive days, they cut off 4 of my fingers, yet they still couldn't convince the Lin family or Roan Chen that they were kidnappers. The kidnappers were afraid I might die, so they bandaged me. Later, even the kidnappers caught on and asked me, could they be doing this on purpose? Leaving you to die without helping? I refused to believe it and desperately insisted they weren't. The kidnappers tried contacting them a few more times, but the Lin family simply changed their private phone numbers. Roan Chen's phone still connects, but the most frequent thing he says to me is, "I'm already engaged to Xiaoya. This game should end now." Testing me like this is truly disgusting. He hung up on my plea for survival, seeing me as useless. The kidnappers decided to sell me off. At least they could get some money that way. I kowtowed to the kidnappers, begging them for another chance, hoping it might help them secure the ransom. One last attempt. I called my archenemy. After hearing me out, he asked, "Are you really being kidnapped?" By then, I could barely speak. To save my life, I begged him repeatedly and even promised to repay the ransom twice over. My archenemy agreed. The day he agreed, I finally saw a glimmer of hope. He sent someone, but instead of paying the ransom, he wiped out the entire kidnapper's den. Afterward, he had people follow me, demanding that I kneel with every step to express my gratitude for his life-saving grace. I had no choice but to comply. I was afraid his people would become the second group of kidnappers. Roan Chen's eyes turned red as he asked me, "You once loved me so much, why can't you forgive me for this small mistake? Your love is so pure and flawless, no one could ever live up to it." What he meant was, he had merely committed a small mistake that all men in the world would make. And I should have forgiven him. This kind of PUA tactic is so low level. Clearly, he really couldn't find any other excuse. "I deeply regret ever loving you." I met his gaze and said in a tone of utter disgust, "Loving you was like falling into a cesspit. Every time I think back on it, I feel filthy and sickened." Stung by my words, he shook his head repeatedly. No, don't say that. I truly know I was wrong. Can you forgive me just once? I swear to heaven, if I ever betray you, may I be struck by lightning. May I never." I looked at him coldly, and seeing that I didn't stop him, he didn't continue speaking. He was still afraid, fearing a bad end. At that moment, the police arrived. Not wanting to escalate the situation, he slunk away. For the following month, he would send a bouquet of flowers every day through someone else. But I had already moved out the day after he started harassing me. When my assistant found out I had nowhere to go, she excitedly invited me to stay at her place, saying she lived alone and her home was very secure. No one could find me there. With 3 months left before my study abroad, I had no choice but to swallow my pride and impose on her. Only when I went to her house did I realize that her villa was on a mountain, as large as an estate. No wonder no one could find it. At my assistant's home, I lived a fairy tale life for 2 months, opening my eyes to blue skies and white clouds, pushing open the window to a riot of flowers. In the afternoon we made tea together, in the evening we went mushroom picking in the mountains, and at night we grilled meat for 2. Occasionally, she would gossip with me about the outside world. One of the most surprising things to me is that Roan Chen is getting engaged. His fiancée is the daughter of a coal tycoon. Counting the time, in my past life, it was also around this time that he got engaged to me. It seems the course of fate remains unchanged, though the details are entirely different. The night before Roan Chen's engagement, Lin Meyer posted a video on her account showing her and Ron Chen going to a hotel, along with various bed photos of Ron Chen. The backgrounds were all different. So the hotel incident wasn't their first time together, it was just one of many unknown encounters. Ron Chen even lied to me, saying he only made one mistake, as expected. You can't trust the words of a scumbag. That night, people online feasted on the drama. My assistant stayed up until 2 a.m., knocked on my door, and said with panda eyes, "Lacey, evil really does get its retribution. Ron Chen hit Lin Meyer with his car, she's in the hospital now, and her condition is unknown." I froze for a moment. I felt hardly any emotional fluctuation, as if hearing about an accident involving a stranger. I sympathized for half a second, and then it had nothing to do with me. The next day, the engagement banquet was called off. The daughter of the coal tycoon refused to compromise, leading to the failure of the alliance between the two families. The Chen family was deeply disappointed with Ron Chen and publicly announced the revocation of his heir status. Lin Meyer was severely injured in the accident and will have to rely on a urinary bag for the rest of her life. Not long after, the Lin family's company faced bankruptcy. Desperate, Lin's parents clung to Ron Chen as their last lifeline, demanding that the Chen group save their company. Otherwise, they would sue Ron Chen and send him to prison. The Chen group's patriarch had more than one son, and Ron Chen's scandal had become public knowledge. Unwilling to protect him, they would rather see him imprisoned than tarnish the Chen family's reputation any further. Ron Chen was ruthless in his own right. He preferred going to jail over paying a cent. Determined to drag Lin Meyer down with him, criminal compensation didn't amount to much. In the end, Ron Chen was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay 200,000 in damages. When dogs bite dogs, there are no winners. Later, the Lin Corporation has gone bankrupt. Lin Meyer is left with severe aftereffects. That 200,000 won't make much of a difference. Lin's parents went to the Chen family multiple times to demand money, only to be driven out each time. They thought of me, asking around for my whereabouts, hoping I would return to be their doormat like before, solving all their problems. They could only dream. By then, I was already on a plane studying abroad. In the first-class cabin, I spotted my arch-nemesis. At that moment, I really wanted to get off the plane, sharp-eyed. He noticed me and let out a flirtatious remark. "Big Dog, you've gotten prettier." My childhood nickname was Big Dog, given by my grandma, who said a humble name would make me easier to raise. He was the village chief's grandson. His father owned oil and gold mines in Africa. Back then, not knowing any better, I joined the other village kids in giving him a nickname. We called him Sparkles. Gold mines are all sparkly. He secretly held a grudge. He called me Big Dog. I shouted at him loudly, "Sparkles, is your hairline starting to recede?" He surrendered, raising both hands. "Please stop shouting." I admit I was wrong. I rolled my eyes and closed them to rest, in a daze. It felt like the plane had taken off. In my dream, I seemed to have returned to my past life. I saw my sworn enemy pick me up and carry me away from that house after my death. He whispered to my corpse, "I was so cruel to you to make you let go of them." But I never thought. I don't know how much time had passed when the flight attendant woke me up and asked what meal I wanted. I woke up, lifted my head, and met the gaze of my arch-rival. Suddenly, I asked him, "Have you ever hated me? We've never gotten along since childhood, and after entering society, I even used underhanded tactics to snatch several contracts from you." He shook his head. "No one would hate a fool." He's still as sharp-tongued as ever. For once, I didn't snap back at him but instead smiled in understanding. After the plane landed, we headed off in different directions. Perhaps we'll meet again if fate allows, or perhaps we'll never see each other again. Who knows about this thing called fate?